So, those of you who need to know everything and want to know about the bed bug more, that's why we have Joe here today. So Joe Becka from TNT Exterminating. Joe has a very colorful background. He's a crime scene cleaner-upper. Have you ever watched Dexter? That's the technical term for it, the crime scene cleaner-upper.
Upper.
He then kind of transcended into hoarding. And now is into bed bugs. So, kind of anything dirty, grimy, pretty, that's the guy.
Don't do windows.
I asked Joe this morning, last time he just brought bed examples. And I said, that's no fun. We have to bring some live examples this morning. So I wanted to make sure you all ate first. And it's in a safe container, and it's really interesting.
You'll never sleep soundly in a hotel again, just so you
No.
Oh, you're not going to sleep soundly in most of the places that you go on the weekends, other than maybe your home.
You can open a lid.
No, we don't need to open that. So I'm usually pretty good with bugs and critters and stuff. But I said to Joe this morning, they look a lot like fleas when they're small. So if you've ever seen a flea. So, and then event. So anything that you need to know at your facility, with home health, with agencies that are coming in to assist your clients, your patients, you really need to be aware of the bed bug issue. He has taught me a lot, and I think for all of us leaving this today will be very much more aware of what we need to be tending to. So.
That is the goal.
Thanks, Joe.
Good morning. Thanks for coming. Beautiful day. It's going to be a beautiful weekend. Hope you all get to go out and enjoy some hotels and look under some mattresses while you're there. I brought some live, bed bugs, albeit some of them are dead. I've been collecting these things for months. Every so often I throw a drop of blood in there and try to keep them alive because they love blood. And they've reproduced. There's a lot of reproduction that's gone on inside this tube. But as you shake them around, pass them around, you'll be able to see the various different sizes of bed bugs. Albeit when they're small, they're in little tiny clusters. And the female can lay 1 to 5 eggs on a regular basis. And when she does, she lays them in clusters. And when you see bed bugs on a mattress, on a box spring, you'll see little clusters, little colonies. So as a female gets pregnant, she'll go off and she'll lay her eggs and they'll hatch and there'll be little clusters. So that's why you see them in little clusters. They're hard to see when they're eggs unless you know what you're looking for. If you spill some salt on a table and take 5 of those grains of salt and put them all together, that's kind of what a cluster of bed bug eggs will look like. And you see how hard it is to see. It's hard to see on your couch. It's hard to see on your mattress. But as they grow, you'll see in the pictures that I provided here, you'll see all different sizes of the bed bugs, all the way from the adults, all the way down to the nymphs, which are the little baby ones, but they all need our blood to survive. With that in mind, with the bed bugs, my goal today is to try to help you, whether it's home health care, whether it's somebody in a nursing home taking care of folks. I've been in all different aspects. I've been into nursing homes to remediate bed bugs. I've been in senior high-rises to remediate bed bugs. I've been in restaurants, I've been in bars, I've been in nightclubs to take care of bed bugs. They can be brought in anywhere. But the biggest thing that people ask me are a lot of the questions that I provided in here and some of the answers. I'm not going to go over too much of that unless you have questions later. What I want to really cover today about bed bugs is more bed bug safety. And how can I be safe in my job when I come into this facility, when I'm working with a patient, when I'm working with somebody new that came in? What can I do to not bring these home? I've gone into people's homes that work in facilities, not necessarily all nursing homes, but other group homes. We work with many, many different people across the spectrum in different aspects of mental health. And some of these folks go to places during the day, they come back, they go to their families, they go to relatives and friends, and then they come back to a particular group home. With that being said, the folks that have to watch over these people when they come and go, they are at risk. you can be at risk. You can get bed bugs anywhere. I was at the McDonald's that was in Elyria when they had that bed bug so-called outbreak. You can get them anywhere. You're not really going to get them off of a seat that you're sitting on today. You're not really going to get them off of a bar stool that you sit on. Very rarely will you get them off of someone that you bump into in a crowded environment. You're going to get them off of a seat that has somewhere to hide. They like to be hidden. They like to go to the cracks and crevices. They don't want to be seen. They're much like mice. Mice run to the corners and they want to hide. They don't want to be standing right in front of you looking at you or walking across the table, much like an ant would. So bed bugs are hard to get if you're walking through a facility or through a house. When I do inspections, I can walk through just like this, and I have for over 4 years, and not brought a bed bug home. Haven't brought a flea home, haven't brought a cockroach home. Killed a lot of them, but I've not brought them home. So when you walk through a facility that somebody says, oh, I was bit by something, don't fear that you're going to bring it home on the bottom of your shoes. Don't fear that you're going to have them in your car and you're going to have hundreds of them because you wore those clothes into that facility that day and I drove home for an hour and now I've got bed bugs in my car. Probably not going to happen. It's very rare. I've never cleaned a car. I've treated it just for the mental aspect of customers that wanted them treated, but we've never found anything in a car. So getting bed bugs, how do I get them at work? How do I get them and bring them home? Close patient care for somebody that has bed bugs is where you get the transfer. I've had dental assistants that have taken care of seniors, and I'm not beating up on seniors because that's why I'm doing what I do, and that's why at the end you'll find out some really neat things that we've uncovered to help seniors with this. But they're the ones that sometimes are in facilities, in high-rises, in group homes that don't want to say something when they have bed bugs because they've either been on a waiting list to get in for years, much like my mother-in-law, and they do not want to lose that because they have no one else to take care of them. So if they get bed bugs or cockroaches, generally they're not saying something. And that's when the problem gets exacerbated and gets to be very much out of control. And now in a group setting or a high-rise, Mrs. Jones goes down to the activities room, maybe she sits in the lobby, maybe she goes and visits someone else, and now 232 rooms have 30% affected by bed bugs because one person didn't say something. So with bed bugs being social, when you have the close patient care, inspect what you're looking at first. When you go up to that bed to take care of that person, don't assume that everyone has bed bugs. But if you go up and you look at your surroundings first, look at the edges of the beds. When housekeeping is changing sheets and laundering things, you know, put them into the bags when you take them through facilities. Many of the times when I see hotels that I inspect, they're yanking the sheets off, they're in the hallways, they're just throwing it on top of the cart. And I've been into those hotels and motels, and I've found bed bugs in there. And there's several in Cleveland and surrounding counties that I've been in that you find them. It's just the practices that folks have. It's just disregard for, you know, the bed bugs. Back in the day when AIDS was big and everybody's afraid to touch anybody, or body fluids and everybody's freaking out about that, you have to be that way about bed bugs because you can get them. There's a 50% chance that you're going to get them and bring them home somewhere along your travels. But if you know what to look for, you're not going to bring them home. Has anybody in here known someone, not necessarily family, but friends or facility they've gone to that have had bed bugs? They're kind of hard to get rid of sometimes. If you do it the right way, they're easy to get rid of. Back to the patient contact, so when you're moving folks around, I've trained paramedics, I've trained fire departments on how to respond to a 911 call and how not to get bed bugs on themselves and bed bugs in their ambulances. And it's the close patient contact, looking at what you have around you, dental offices, when you have someone that's right up next to you and you're doing patient care. Look at their jackets, look at what's moving on them possibly. And if they have a problem, you know, get them out of the area, quarantine the area, Don't let any clothing or anybody come in and out of there, and get a hold of a pest control professional right away, because we can take care of the problem and isolate it to a particular room. Things can be isolated to individual rooms in your house, albeit I wouldn't treat one room in your house, I would treat the entire house. Not necessarily an entire apartment building, but every room in your house would be treated. Let's talk about a healthcare facility like this. If someone comes in, and this is where we find them in nursing homes, you get family members that come in. You get not necessarily the inbound patient that comes in, because a lot of times that patient has gone through several other hands before they've come into your facility, but I've still seen it with that individual, if they're coming from home to the facility, that they could bring them with them. They could be in their clothing. It all depends on what type of disarray they have in their homes with their clothing. I've seen clothing on floors. This is the clean pile, this is the maybe I'll wear again pile, and this is the dirty pile. And there's usually bed bugs within there, you know, if they have them in their beds. So in a nursing home facility, it's more of the responsibility of the people that are changing the beds, laundering the linens, when they're stripping those beds, to take a little time, look at the beds. Are there blood spots on there? If the patient has them and there's blood spots on there, is it from some other type of medical problem, or is it because they rolled over on some bed bugs, squished them, and now you got a blood smear on the bed, on the pillow? Great signs for the novice person to be able to see. The samples that we've passed around, this is a bigger jar, might make it a little bit easier to see, but have you all seen the live bed bugs, played with them, touched them? I've taped one under each one of your seats if you want to take one home. But the black spots that are in here, that is the fecal matter that bed bugs leave behind. They're the traditional black spots, albeit the same as flies. If a fly has something that it's going to land on and feed on, it defecates and it leaves a black spot also, indicative of what you see sometimes around a window, because flies go towards your windows. Cockroaches also leave the little black spots. It's also after they feed, they need to go number 2 also. Bed bugs, when they do it, it's blood that they're getting rid of, because that's all they eat is blood. So when the spots first come out, they're red. Then they dry up and they turn black. If you have a bad infestation, which I've had, you see in some of the pictures around an outlet cover on the second page. I've seen the black spots, and I've been in many places where the black spots are at the ceiling and the wall, and they're dripping. And there's actually drip marks down the wall. And that's basically blood dripping down the walls. A heavy bed bug infestation is going to have a sweet but musty odor to it. If you open up one of the tubes here, which you can, just don't let them jump out, you can smell the bed bugs. They're scared. When they're in those jars, they're scared when you shake them around. And when you open it up, you can smell what they smell like. Cockroaches are worse. It's not good for you to smell their fecal matter and get that in there. Yeah, it could be a scratch and sniff. But that's probably the best thing that you can do in a nursing home facility, is to look at the sheets, look at the mattresses, look at the client that's laying in that bed. And then also the family members that come in, they can bring them into your facility. Sometimes knowing that they have bed bugs, but yet they still come into your facility. They still wear the same clothes that they've sat on their couch or their bed and they've come into your facility. That's how your facility will get affected. So I always suggest that folks put some type of a protocol together, some type of a training in their facilities on what to look for bed bugs. We've done it for a few facilities. And we train them, we teach them what to look for, how to change a bed, what to do when you do find something. Home health care nurses, there's another great aspect that I've found good and bad in. And I'm not here to beat up on the home health care folks, but when you don't know what you're looking for and you're taking care of a patient and you bring your bags and your coat in, you lay it over the couch, you lay it over the chair, your bag's on the couch or the floor, and that person has bed bugs and you cannot see them, chances are you're picking up a pregnant female, because they're the ones that are going to run off and go hide somewhere and latch onto you and go home to lay their eggs. Very rarely will you bring home a male, because a male is always looking for the female or a food source. So now you take your bags, you go to the next house, and the next house, and the next house. You could bring them home on yourself, which is very bad. And if you don't know where you got them from, that's even worse, because now you don't know which client that you've seen that may have bed bugs. And if you run into someone that has them, we need to have more of an open forum and talk on that with clients and people we're taking care of, because these folks need help. They may not know that they have them. They may not understand what a bed bug is. Maybe they've lived with it, back in the 70s, 50s, 60s. They've lived with them. Oh, that's okay, they'll go away. They're not going to go away. They're just going to get worse. So we can come in, any pest control company can come in and take a look at this and help them with their problem. So if you are a home health care nurse or someone that goes into someone's home on a regular basis to visit with different clients, and you sit on their couches, you sit on their chairs, my suggestion to you is to be safe, sit on the front part of the couch, sit on the front part of the chair. The bed bugs are going to be more at the top corner where you would lean back in a couch and kind of fall asleep watching TV and resting your head. That's where the bed bugs are going to be. They're not really under the cushions as much as you think. Sit at a kitchen table, much like what you're sitting at today. Sit on a wooden chair. Put your stuff on a kitchen table. Put it on a kitchen counter. Ask them, can I put my stuff on the kitchen counter, not on the floor? If you have shoe covers, those are another great thing. It's not just to protect you from bed bugs. It's a common courtesy that I use when I go into folks' homes. Let me put on some shoe covers. Oh, that's okay. You don't have to. No, it's just a courtesy that our company has. We don't want to bring dirt into your house. We don't want the perception that we brought bugs into your home. And they appreciate that. So they would appreciate it from you if that's something that you had or your company did. And then when you leave, take those shoe covers off. Put them in a little Ziploc baggie. Throw them in your car. Now you can reuse them the rest of the day until they get all torn up and worn out. Take a change of clothes if you're in an environment you stay in a lot. Group homes, nursing homes. If you're that freaked out and you think you're going to bring them home, bring a change of clothes in a plastic bag. Go into the bathroom, change your clothes, put those clothes back into that bag, take them home, throw them in your dryer. I'll guarantee you, you will not bring bed bugs home. Because if you do bring them home, they're going to be on your clothes. Close patient transfer, you sat on a large couch, you were in an area that they clung to you. Bed bugs aren't like ants. Ants can crawl on you and sometimes shake your arm and that ant just won't get off of your arm because they can climb up any type of surface. Bed bugs have a hard time on smooth surfaces. They don't cling that well. And bed bugs don't fly. They don't jump. Bed bugs take 5 to 10 minutes to bite you. So it's a misconception when people sit on a couch or sit on a bed or sit somewhere and say, oh, I just got a bite. Must be bed bugs in here. It takes 5 to 10 minutes. The bed bugs have to find you in a sleeping state and very lethargic, usually between 10 p.m. and 5 a.m., where you're not moving that much. And then they pierce you, they regurgitate inside of your vein, and then they extract the blood. If they don't get blood, they'll move right next door. That's why you hear the 3 bites in a row. They give up after about 3 times because they're really tired. It takes a lot of effort for them to inject you, withdraw, inject you, withdraw. They give up after that, and they just move on. So that's why you sometimes see the 3 bites in a row. 1 bite could be a spider, could be dust mites, could be chiggers, could be a lot of different things. We see a lot of spiders. Spiders can land on you, get with you, and they can bite you pretty quick and move, just like mosquitoes, just like fleas. A lot of people have fleas and they don't realize it. So be careful when customers or yourself, you think, oh, I just got bit by a bed bug. You really got to be sitting. If we all go sit on a couch somewhere in someone's house, we're probably not going to get bit by a bed bug. The bed bug bites don't do anything to you.
Personal question.
Yeah.
Animals? Pet transmission?
Animals, not so much, because you think about a dog and fleas and a dog scratching. Practice on your own pet. Go touch one hair on your dog. He's going to start going at it right away. And the fur is so thick on cats and dogs that it would take the bed bug so long to get in there and get down to the fur. Now, can they be on your dog or your cat and your dog move from one room to another, the possibility's there. But it's probably unlikely because they move so fast, and when they get up, the dog's shaking or the cat is jumping, so that bug is usually falling off and staying in that room. You would have to have a very lethargic dog that has maybe little to no fur on its belly like most dogs do, and that dog would have to not have any reaction to anything crawling on him. So that dog would have to be close to death. You know, because every dog that I know of, you know, you get close to them, they jump, they jerk, you know, they're scratching. So animals, not so much. Fleas, absolutely. And that's the biggest thing that I've seen is fleas and spiders in people's homes. So changing your clothes, huge key point if you're worried about transferring bed bugs. They're not really going to be in your car. They take about 5 to 10 minutes to feed. They don't jump, they don't fly. And the chances of you bringing them home, I just kind of want everybody to know, it is usually very slim unless the area is contaminated. If it's contaminated, you should be more aware of your surroundings. If we're more aware of our surroundings and where we go and what we do, much like crime, there's some neighborhoods I bet a lot of you wouldn't want to drive through at night. A lot of stores you wouldn't want to shop at night. A lot of red lights you'd rather run in certain neighborhoods. Much like bed bugs, if you know your surroundings and you know what environment you're getting into, much like I do when I'm going to folks' homes, I don't bring them home. Albeit I change my clothes when I get home. I change them. I have a deck. I change my clothes, take them off out there to protect myself. It's just universal precautions that I take on a daily basis, much like folks that are in a healthcare environment with their universal precautions. So if we think about universal precautions for bed bugs, much like blood and bloodborne pathogens, we'll all be a lot safer moving forward, and we won't really bring those little critters home with us. Now, getting rid of them, heat is the best way. Heat is the best way, and that's where I want to transition into this piece that I just came upon a couple days ago. It's a new program. I work with a company called Bed Bug Home Prep Services. Emily is the coordinator. She runs it. I believe she's part of this group. I'm not sure. I invited her to come today. She had a client she was taking care of. Emily's work is in bed bug home prep services. It's huge in other states. They're making millions of dollars in bed bug home prep in New York in the high rises. And they're charging anywhere between $65 and $100 an hour. You think, wow, it's a great job. I want to jump on board with that. But you're going into places that have a lot of bed bugs. And you're laundering, you're moving things, you're packing things, you're prepping it for someone like me to come in and do a chemical treatment or a heat treatment. Recently, Emily has applied to Medicare, Medicaid to be able to subsidize the money that folks have to pay. It can be several $100s to prep a home correctly, and a lot of pest control companies won't come to your house. If Kenny's house is loaded with a ton of stuff, and he's got bed bugs or he's got something else, I can't do an effective job. And the money he spends with me will be wasted because I won't be able to get rid of them. And I'm going to tell him right up front. Now, most pest control companies will say, see ya, can't help you. So now Kenny's stuck with them. Hate to pick on you, Kenny, you're just in front of me. Yeah. But that's what happens in society today. People don't have the money or they cannot prep their homes correctly. Emily, who we've partnered with, can prep the homes. And now that seniors can take advantage of this, right now we've started in Summit, Stark, Portage, and Wayne County. And in those counties, if the senior or individual has United Health Care, the client must be eligible for long-term services and support. LTSS she has here. These are a lot of things that a lot of you in the room might know about. Jim might know more about a lot of this stuff and what people have and what benefits they have. But if they have that, which is also called Medicaid waiver services, they're eligible for this help. So now they can get a hold of Emily and she can go out with her team and prep this home or apartment. because the services follow the individual, not the structure. Much like your homeowner's insurance, it's for your home and sometimes other areas that you go to for losses. The client can contact Emily, find out if they qualify. I recently had a client that did qualify, and they had the passport, they had the United Healthcare Services, they had the passport. She's also working with CareSource members in Stark, Summit, Wayne, Portage counties. And those services are coming to Cuyahoga County pretty soon. It's really great news for seniors and folks that are on this, because now those folks that are usually left behind, left without the ability to prep, because a pest control company cannot come in and prep your house. I used to do those services. It's very daunting, because then you have to come back and put the pictures back on the wall. You got to put the clothes back in the drawer, and it's a lot of time, and then it's a lot of repeat time going back to put everything back. They do these services. We can move on. We get to that home. Kenny's house is perfect. It's prepped. I can guarantee that I will get rid of the bed bugs in his home. We follow up with bed bug dogs to certify that the home is clear after it's done, because the bed bugs can be smelled by the dog very easily. The pheromones that they give off and the blood that they eat, the dogs find it, much like cadaver dogs. So it certifies that we are clear in that home, and we move on for the heat services. So with that in mind, those are a lot of new things that are coming up. There are also some new things on the horizon. I'm not going to speak about tremendously, but there are things coming up in the same format that Emily's using with CareSource and United Healthcare that will also take care of heat services for pest control companies. So on the horizon, the seniors and people that are on these are going to have the ability to get their homes heated and their apartments heated and taken care of by their insurance that they have. Yes?
In your you mentioned vacuum. Is the suction enough to kill them? And if not, then can they still breathe and live in the dirt that would be in the bag or a bagless vacuum cleaner?
Yeah, absolutely. We recommend when we go into folks' homes, we tell them to vacuum, and then when they're done, we empty their canisters. We spray the inside of their canisters. We spray the bristles on the bottom of the vacuum to make sure that any bugs or eggs that have clung there that we get rid of. But vacuuming is always the best thing to do in your home. Not only that, but a cleanly house helps you be able to identify things that could be in your house, albeit cockroaches, bed bugs, those kind of things, carpet beetles, things that I'm concerned with when I go into a home. We always make sure that folks vacuum their homes before we come in.
Here's just a tip, because I'm a pet owner and I know a lot about fleas, especially in the summertime. One of the recommendations for vacuuming is to put a flea collar inside your vacuum bag or inside the container. Because once you capture the fleas that are in there, they're alive, so you have to have a way to kill them once they're in the vacuum. So just an FYI on that. And wear lots of white socks around your house, so you can see them jump on board and see if you're still there.
Yeah, we always wear something or have something white when we go into a house. If you're ever concerned and you're going into someone's home that has fleas, dogs, cats, whatever, get that green can of Deep Woods off. That's the best for flea repellent if you go into someone's home. Albeit you're going to smell like Deep Woods off, but, you know, heck, you're going to go back outside. It's going to keep the mosquitoes off of you. But when you go into somebody's home and you're like, I got to go into Mrs. Jones' home and I know she's going to have fleas really bad, spray yourself with the Deep Woods off. We do it because it's not a pesticide we're putting on us. So therefore, I'm a little bit safer, albeit I could spray myself with the stuff I use, but do I really want those chemicals penetrating through me? And if you break out in a sweat later in the day, and all that chemical is getting into your pores, it hasn't done too much to me. I used to have long hair, but, you know, it's not bad. Anybody have any questions? I kind of covered what I wanted to as far as safety, changing your clothes, not being able to pick them up here and there. Is there anything, any questions that you have? I covered a lot of the question and answer in here so that we didn't have to go off. I've done 2 and 3 hour talks on bed bugs, so we're working with a half hour today.
How widespread is the problem? Is there any other statistics? Is it getting worse? Is it all been around, or we just kind of now getting smarter about it?
Bed bugs have been around. They've been in the United States years ago, and our grandparents and some parents that are still around have gotten rid of them with, chlordane and all kinds of other weird chemicals that we had back in the day. That's when the government allowed us to really rid ourselves of pests that we wanted to. And it was just, yeah, go ahead, pour gasoline on your house, set it on fire, do whatever you want. And we could get rid of them back in the day. And we eradicated them in the U.S. back by early 70s. In Asia, in India, I speak to a lot of couples because I'm down by the Cleveland State area doing a lot of work. They live with 20, 30, 40 people in a home sometimes, and bed bugs are just out of control. They have pest control people there, but it's something that they live with. Just like people in the South live with stink bugs. We're getting them now. We don't have a chemical for stink bugs. We have something that can kind of keep them sort of off your house a little bit. Nobody eats them, and there's no chemical to kill them. So if you got them, get one of those tennis rackets from Five Below that zap them and have fun in the backyard with the kids. Make it a family activity. But bed bugs have been around for a long time. They're in the Middle East. That's where they pretty much came back to us from, with all our interaction and all the people going to the Middle East and back and forth, planes, trains, automobiles. That's, we've basically reinfested. Cleveland, Cuyahoga County, we're number 7 on the hit list for Terminix's reports inbound to bed bug active calls. So we're still number 7. And Cincinnati is up there in the top 10 also. So it is an epidemic, and it's going to be an epidemic until there's more awareness and more people talking about it. And kind of like AIDS. I mean, it was the big talk for many, many, many years, and now it's like on the back burner. Nobody really talks about it because the awareness is so widespread and everybody's more careful. Yes?
Are you seeing cases in movie theaters?
I have not. I've not gone to one. I've not inspected one. But then again, I've tried marketing to them. Oh, we don't have a problem here.
Yeah, because a lot of the chairs are fabric.
Yep. And think about it. And again, no disrespect to people that are home, people that don't have jobs, people that get up with their pajamas and their slippers and go to Walmart at 9 o'clock in the morning. There could be bed bugs more in Walmart than there probably is in a movie theater. Think about the folks you see walk around with pajama bottoms on and slippers on when they're in the stores in the mornings, in the afternoon. They just got off their couch and off their bed. And I'm not picking on anybody, but those are the people that spread these things around. You get out of your bed, you don't change your clothes, you wear the same thing to the movie theater, yes, there's a chance. Especially if you have bed bugs at home. Well, bed bugs can live 6 months to a year without feeding after they've fed, but they do need a blood meal, but they can live that long. Bring your suitcase home, put it in your trunk. If you're traveling, put a plastic bag in your trunk. When you get back in your car, put the suitcase in the plastic bag, cinch it up, drive home. When you get home, take the plastic bag out, put it in your garage, put it in your driveway, take your clothing out, put it in another plastic bag, take it in your house, put it in the dryer. Now you know you're not going to bring bed bugs into your home. Guaranteed you won't have them after you travel. Leave your suitcase out there for a little while. If you want to spray it, go ahead. Put it back in the plastic bag. If you can safely put it in your driveway in the sunlight, boom, bed bug's gone. Put them in your trunk in that plastic bag, bed bug's gone. 120 degrees, real easy for 3-4 hours. It's going to kill anything in that suitcase, especially candles.
What's your routine when you arrive at a facility?
I smell the room first. I want to know what the room smells like. If there's a heavy infestation somewhere, I'm going to smell it first. And then
the sweet smell.
Yeah, the sweet musty smell. But what I do, and what I did this week at 2 hotels, is I pull the bed back away from the wall, because usually the beds are not mounted to the wall. The frame can pull back. You can pull that back away from the wall, and then you go around to the head of the bed, and you can look at the bottom of the ribbing where the mattress meets the box spring. And that's usually where you're going to find clusters, or you may only find one bed bug. And if you don't find it there, take the headboard off the wall. They're usually on J-hooks. If you can't pick it up yourself, if it's too big, too thick, have someone help you. But pick it up, lay it on the bed, and then look inside the hooks, and look inside the hooks that are on the headboard. I find them all the time. Mirrors that hang on the wall that are only about that thick. Pick the mirror up off the wall. If you don't find cockroaches back there, you might find some bed bugs. The nightstands are great because if you pull the nightstand away where the phone is and the Bible's in the drawer and you pull that back, housekeeping does not move those tables. Housekeeping does not move that bed. I've found money back there. I've found unmentionables back there, but housekeeping doesn't do that. They don't get paid enough to do that. I don't care what hotel you're at. They don't get paid enough to pull that stuff back and clean behind there. You're going to find dead bed bugs if there's bed bugs in that room. Most hotels don't, because now they're going to a one mattress system encasing it, but bed bugs will still poop on a mattress encasement. Don't get me started with crime scenes and blood and everything on the bottom of the mattresses.
That's addition too.
Yeah, take a black light with you when you go in there next time. Yeah. Any other questions?
Do bed bugs have any natural predators?
Yeah. I've seen spiders eat them, you know, when they get stuck in the spider webs. I put a spider inside this, where's that tube there? And I tell you what, I put the spider in there, albeit it made a web inside there. In the blue jar, they're still clustered together, they're wrapped up in a web. But when I open up the jar, because I open them up every day, and I put blood in there, my own, I prick my finger, I drop blood in there, let them eat. And the spider came out of there like the place was on fire. That spider did not want to be in there. Yeah. Yeah, this is a place for good housekeeping. Any other questions?
What are the hotel chains that have the best reputation for not hiring that?
Don't really know. There really is no stats out there on that. I've been to real nice, big, fancy hotels.
The next question is going to be, right?
And I've been to the really, you know, we'll leave the light on for you type hotels. And they are just as clean and they are just as dirty. You know, it all depends on housekeeping and management. It all depends on who's running these hotels. The big chains sometimes do a better job than the individual John Doe who's running a hotel and, you know, throwing his hat in the ring. Hey, I can do hotels great. Motels great. Yes?
You mentioned that they bite you and irritate with blood.
Yeah.
Go on. What is the risk of any type of disease that they just did and someone next to you?
Yep.
Some type of disease and then how it irritates.
Exactly what I ask all the time, and I've asked Dr. Susan Jones of the Ohio State University many times, and studies are still out on that. Right now, they haven't found any communicable diseases that bed bugs are cross-contaminating to humans or animals. There is one disease that they can transfer to animals, but it's because of the blood or the, it's the anesthetic that the bed bug has, that if it is given or bitten into a dog can get sick from it possibly. But that's the only signs they've found so far. I question the same thing you do. You know, when I'm talking to folks in hotels, motels, and family members, what if you have MRSA, staph, hepatitis, and that bug bites you? That same needle that they're using is going into the same person. They really don't know the aesthetics of that needle on that bed bug's mouth going into someone else. It's still out for study. There's really nothing out there in many of the different universities that I follow. So right now, they're saying nothing. If they do, that's when the CDC will get involved, much like they do with West Nile and mosquitoes right now, because now they're transmitting, you know, the West Nile disease. So now your government's involved. So once they find out something like that happens, they probably won't, because look at all the money it's going to cost the government. That's my theory. Conspiracy, albeit, but it is a theory.
Is there a reliable online database? Because the ones that are found are like where people report them, and I don't know if those are really reliable. Is there a reliable place where they have confirmed cases of bed bugs? Is bed bugs out for you?
Not really, because think about it. If you don't like a hotel chain or you had a bad meal or something, you can just post and blog that there was bed bugs.
The government doesn't bother, there won't be anything like that.
Kalahari gets beat up tremendously, but I've been there once and I haven't found anything, but then everybody blogs about it, so I'm thinking they probably had a bad experience, or, you know, every hotel has its problems, but I think they're doing a better job at it with whoever they're using and putting rules and procedures into place to have their hotel staff inspect. So I think we're just getting better at it.
This is the last question. I think we are a good segment of that. I think it was big a year ago. It wasn't better than your presentation, but we pretty covered some of the points that you did.
Good.
It's something to look at.
It's information, and I'm working, we're trying to do integrated pest care when we go into homes and hotels and dwellings. It's easy for a pest control company to go in and put out a fire in room 222, but then, 517 has a problem. Let's put together a plan, which we do with our company, and I do personally, to take care of the building and public awareness that are in those buildings and in nursing homes. So I do the training. We help protocols. We're trying to do this with schools. Schools are a little bit standoffish with putting protocols together because who did we offend today? Today's society, you say something, well, little Joey's book bag, he's got bed bugs. His parents probably have bed bugs. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But now you've offended them. Now they want to sue you. So it's very hard for us to get this with some of the schools, and I'm working with one school system. We just can't get every time we come up with something, another team of people beat it down saying, well, you've just offended someone. It's very hard because now everybody's on the bandwagon of, what offends you today? And bed bugs are one of them. Accuse somebody of having bed bugs. Thank you. And we do free inspections. So nursing homes, high rises, apartments, we do free bed bug inspections all the time.